All right, Hickok45 bringing you a Sharps rifle, finally, after all these years. Is that sweet or what? Single shot, yes. We have three people to thank today and think about. Christian Sharps, David Pedersoli, and William Lyman, all somewhat historical figures, I guess you could say, especially Lyman and Christian Sharps, because Christian Sharps came up with these rifles a long time ago, back in 1848, 49, the very first ones. They were breech loaders like this, and basically the same design, except there were no cartridges. They used just put the bullet and the powder in from back here, and it was in kind of a linen or a paper, cartridge, just like in the Civil War the muzzleloader shooters used with the Springfields and the Enfields in a way. But they'd stick it in there, and then when you brought up the breech block, it would cut it off, and then they had to have a primer, and it would fire those. So they're very much like this one, even though this is a cartridge gun. So the Sharps rifles go way back, 1850s, thousands of them made for the military and for hunters and everybody, and the percussion version. And then of course in the 1870s they were chambered for the 4570 and many other cartridges. And you probably know of these as a Buffalo rifle, 50 caliber, 4570, lots of different calibers and lots of different configurations too. And of course the Tang sight was a real boon, and guess who came up with that? The people who sent us this rifle. William Lyman came up with that sight in 1878. And even though this is a replica really of the 1877 Sharps, I mean that's what it is. The sight on it is 1878, and that's why Lyman calls it the model of 1878. That makes sense. It's well, sort of. So it is called model of 1878, but it's a remake of the 1877 Sharps rifle. Okay, not confused, are you? It's pretty simple actually. So pretty neat gun. Let's put it over here and let you take a look at it, and then I will find some more ammo. Oh, I have ammo all over me, don't I? Now, is it a beautiful gun or what? I've had a couple of Sharps rifles, and I've just been without for, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years, I guess. I apologize, but I have had a couple. Had a Pedersoli, in fact, my first one. And then I had a Shiloh Sharps. So that's why I have all this ammo out. I'm not new to this actually. This is my 500 grain black powder load here. So I have a few of those. I went to the basement to get a few of those today. And I thought, you know what, I'll just bring out the ammo can. We're not going to shoot that much. Y'all can relax. You get to go to bed tonight and not watch the video for 12 hours. But I'm just going to take that out and put it on the table. Because when I sold my Shiloh Sharps, I still had all this ammo. Now I have something to do with it. This is the same right here. The 500 grain is a big bullet. It goes down to about right there. I mean, it's huge. 500 grains, and mainly I shoot the 400 grain. This is smokeless powder with the 400 grain, flat bullet. Okay, so we'll shoot that mostly probably. But I wanted to shoot a few of these today, and this is cool. Now again, this is 1877 Sharps is what we're looking at, made and by Pedersoli and Lyman. Lyman gave Pedersoli the specs, what they wanted, and Pedersoli put it together, and it has turned out, I think, to be a pretty nice rifle. For your half cock and open it up like a lever. Well, it is a lever. Another round in, and try it again. Let's hit the pot. I'll use the set trigger. Since it's so far away. Pretty cool, huh? Now I'll shoot it without using the set trigger, and I'll show you what that is if you don't know. Let's go over there too. Well, I'll shoot it without using the set trigger on that other 2-liter. Okay. Half cock, hit the round out. Okay. Now the set triggers, you may have seen these on a firearm, 2 triggers. Why do you need 2? Put 2 fingers on them or something? Well, on a target rifle, which is really what this is designed for, or hunting, the rear trigger is a set trigger. What it does is, and actually you can do it with it down. I don't think it hurts it. I used to do that with my Shiloh Sharps. Okay, now I could fire it with the front trigger, but if I pull the rear trigger till it clicks, it turns that front trigger into a hair trigger. And that's what you want, because when you pull it, it takes no effort. And that's always good. A really light trigger makes you a better shooter. However, it also can make you a more dangerous person, right? Make the gun unsafe, perhaps, if it's really, really light. Well, the thing is here, when I cock this gun, bring it up to shoot, that's the only time I'm going to turn that front trigger into a hair trigger, see? So, you know, there's no big risk. I get on target, or I pull the rear trigger, and then I go around there, and I'm well aware I have a hair trigger. And so it's not a problem, okay? All right, let's take another shot or two. Let's see. Before I do that, let me tell you a couple things about it. It's beautiful wood, as you can see. And this was the 1877. Now I'm going to confuse you because I'm going to call it an 1877 Sharps rifle, even though Lyman has, you know, dubbed it the model of 1878 because of the Lyman sight that came out then. And this was a real innovation. And you know, Lyman sights, Lyman tank sights, Marbles tank sights, I mean, everybody uses them. I've had them over the years. They've been around forever. How about since 1878? And in wide use, so they're wonderful. They give you a peep sight of sorts, just like we all like on an AR-15. You know, and you get them on these old guns. I've got one on my lever gun, my 1873. You've seen, makes it much easier to shoot well, just like, you know, from many of the rifles you own, modern rifles, you use that same kind of aperture front sight. So they are wonderful, and they help you on these. Now, what happened with these quickly is that the 1874 is probably the most prolific and widespread Sharps rifle. I had two of those in the companies I mentioned before. They had heavier receivers and frames. And in 1877, by that time, competition shooting was really becoming very, very popular in Creedmoor, Long Island, New York, the Creedmoor, you know, matches in England. And so, more so than buffalo hunting, there was a demand for a really accurate rifle and a shootable rifle for those matches. Thing was, international rules demanded you could only have a rifle under 10 pounds, or 10 pounds and under, but you know, 10 pounds was a cutoff. And the big old 1874 Sharps, the frame and the receiver was so heavy, it was just bigger, a little bit bigger built. So you couldn't put a heavy barrel on those as well without getting too much weight. You know, it was overweight, couldn't use it. Although they were fine rifles, of course, used them for, you know, years and years hunting buffalo and everything else. So what the Sharps did was they came up with this. They took a lot of the weight, took a pound, I read, out of the actual receiver by shaving it down here and there, smaller hammer, okay? In that way, they could put that weight back into the barrel if they wanted to, because when you're shooting really long range, powerful rounds, a heavy barrel helps. You know, you're competing at 1,000 yards, 800 yards. So that's what they did with this rifle. It's got a little bit lighter receiver, and that way they could be more flexible on the weight they put out there on the barrel. All right. Now, the thing is, I noticed about this between my 1874s, both my Shiloh and my Pedersoli that I owned, is it's more comfortable, it feels better, and it's not as heavy. It's like 9 pounds. I don't even remember what those weighed, but I know that Shiloh must have been 12 pounds or something. I mean, it was a tank, great gun. But this thing, you just feel like you could take it out hunting and it wouldn't just wear you out, you know? So it just feels good. I'm gonna shoot some more to prove that. So so far, I am impressed. Okay, let's put another 405 grain in there and close her up and cock it. And let's see if we can hit the red plate again. Okay, I'm going to pull the rear trigger. I cocked all the way. Rear trigger turns the front one into a very light trigger. There we go. And I should not miss.